Today I'm going to be reviewing No One Will Save You. You guys should probably check this one out. I have a lot to say about this one. I do want to mention this review is a spoiler review, so if you didn't see that in the description, please know I will be getting into spoilers in this movie. Now, this was one of the better Alien movies I have seen in a long time, and this movie had barely any dialogue. I think 3 or 4 words that were used. The rest of it was just nail-biting, heart-pounding tension. There are a lot of things I absolutely love about this movie, and there's a lot of things I absolutely did not like. There were very weird choices that were made. The movie starts off with this girl who's in a town and a lot of people don't like her. And as she's at home one night, she hears this noise. When she goes downstairs, there's an alien in her kitchen. And this movie gets right to the point and you are in the action already. There's no time to breathe in this movie. You are thrown into the action and the action does not let go for the next 70 minutes. And I loved every minute of that. There's a part where she goes to run out the door and the door just explodes. When she gets knocked back from this door, you see one of the first aliens, and it's a regular sized one, like one you would see in the X-Files. It's got a big round head, skinny body. They did show this one had multiple toes, but the thing I really liked about the aliens was the sound mixing. I want to compliment the sound mixing team because it's not a noise I've heard before. There was some inspiration from Signs. I like the throwback of that. I don't know if it was intentional, but I feel like it might have been. The sound work in this movie was incredible. And I thought that was very important because if you mess up the sound work in a movie with no dialogue, this movie will fall flat on its face because that's what this movie relied on. They hit a home run with this. And so you're going on this journey with this girl who's stuck in her house with these aliens trying to find her. And you see like one regular size alien, a tiny little one, and then there's this big giant spider looking alien. You were very freaked out of this. There wasn't a lot of time to breathe between the aliens being in her presence and being away from her. Then she goes into the town and everyone's acting really weird around her, and she gets on the bus and this guy has like this spider in his throat. So she has to get off the bus, run away from these aliens, and it's just walking towards her. It's not like running. So I'm thinking, is it trying to capture her? Is it trying to lower her up the road where they are going to trap her? So they left you with all these little questions because they didn't really explain much. I like the mystery because then I get all these ideas in my head where it's going to go, because then it leaves a lot to your imagination. So then she gets to her house, and as she's headed towards her house, there's all these people, and then you finally see one of the UFOs in the sky, and they're all staring at the UFO. And the thing is when they were staring up at it, one of them looks at her, but it doesn't chase her down. And I thought that was scary. Why aren't they trying to get her? Only the aliens that are not human are trying to capture her. So I found that interesting, and that got me more excited and engaged where this was going. So then she goes back to the house, and there's a lot of suspense of the aliens being in the house and trying to find her. The writers did a good job on finding good ways and creative ways to build tension with the way the aliens tried to find the girl. There was a specific scene that actually startled me a little bit. She was in the basement, hiding under a table. She was hiding behind an ironing board, and the alien looked over in her direction because it already had searched the rest of the basement. So that was the only spot left. She goes around the ironing board, and then something falls on the other side, and then she looks that way, and she doesn't hear where the alien is. So then she looks over and she sees its reflection in a mirror where it is, and she knows it's still over there. So when she peeks this way, it's not there. Instead of doing a jump scare, they just changed the camera angle, and it zoomed out to where you can see her peeking the corner, and then the alien's just staring directly towards her. There's no noise. The camera angle change is the jump scare. They built up tension for a good 20 seconds of something so simple, and then a camera angle change is what startled me. I liked the survival instincts of this girl. She was really smart on how and what would help her get away from them, and she became smarter as this happened, and I liked that. Some complaints I do have, though, is everything did work out way too much in her favor. Some of these situations would have to be so perfectly planned. You would have to practice them for them not to fail. And there were just situations like one where she gets in the car and the alien actually gets stuck, and then she starts the car on fire and it explodes. And then when she tries to get pulled out by one of the aliens, UFO rays, coincidentally, there's an object on the ground right next to her for her to stab an alien in the head. Some of her escapes and some of the things that happened were just a little too on the nose for her to escape out of the situation. But it's a movie, you have to have her get away or the movie just ends, so I get it. Now the big gripe I have, and I think a lot of people will agree with me, is the third act. The third act of this film really deflates and sucks all the good energy out of the film. That the decision making on the third act and the writing was very odd, and I don't think it worked with what they were going with. They went really off the chart here. Like the creativity just kind of went wild. It's almost like someone did the first 70 minutes and then someone who has no knowledge of the film just comes in with their short film that they want to do, and then they just mix their short film idea with this movie to fit the narrative of their short film into this without knowing any of the context. I'm really sick and tired of horror movies that use horror elements as metaphors for trauma and grief. That trope is really old. It is not clever or unique. It's stale and very worn down. I am sick and tired of that trope. And we continue to do it over and over as if it's never been done before. Like, I get it. You were traumatized as a kid. I killed my friend and I feel so bad about it. Let's milk that cow, but hey, let's make sure to add it to an alien movie. We do not need to see someone's trauma in every horror movie that is made now, because that seems to be the only thing that they're making when it comes to horror films now. She gets kidnapped by the aliens. They see her trauma as an issue to not be able to be part of this world that they want. So they let her go. And then it shows her dancing at the end. And you see all the alien UFOs over the little town that she's in. And everyone's dancing. The first 70 minutes of this was heart-pounding suspense. And I was glued to the screen, wondering how she'd get out of the situation. You're seeing the townspeople infected. Not sure what by or why they're acting like that. But I know it has to do with the aliens. And then she gets abducted. And then we spend the last 15 minutes crying about how she killed her friend on accident. No, I killed my friend. I feel so bad about it. But hey, let's forget about all the alien stuff and that she's in a fucking UFO right now. No, let's focus on her accidentally killing her friend and cry about it. I did not care. I lost all interest in the movie when it went to that point. My grade was sitting very high before that part. Some people would be like, well, maybe you just didn't understand the metaphors. Maybe you just don't get trauma. No, I get it. Okay, I get why the aliens did what they did and why they didn't keep her. I am calling out a friend of mine. This one's to you, Mike. He's a friend who gives me a hard time that I don't understand metaphors of trauma. I have bad taste in films. Since you haven't seen this, and I hope you do, I kind of want to take a little jab at a friend and thoroughly tell you, the audience, and him specifically, what the ending of this movie meant. So the girl gets kidnapped by the aliens, and as they're observing the photos, they notice her friend in it. They use her grief of killing her friend on accident as a way to keep her subdued in her mind through these photos. And the only way to keep her subdued in a trance was to bring back her friend in her mind. But as an audience, we are shown that although she felt sorrow, it didn't work on her. She was able to see through the illusion and break it, freeing herself. And then, in the woods, her clone stabs her. She kills the clone, but instead of running away, she mourns after they catch her. They are curious as to why the hypnosis did not work. And as they observed what she had done, we again see her reach out to her young self as she begins to write letters to Maud, who is her friend she accidentally killed. They couldn't imprison her because she had already been a prisoner to the town and to herself. And they couldn't make her an alien because she was already alienated. So they realized she is already a part of their alien society, and there with them, she was free. So she couldn't be controlled. And my belief is the aliens were trying to make a perfect society of people. And that was the whole premise of the film. And it was not a very exciting one. To me, that was not a good way to end the movie, the way the first 70 minutes played out. That just seemed very off, as if another writer came in and another director and another editor jumped in and they're like, hey, we got another project we got to do. You three take care of the rest of this. It's got 15 minutes left. And they didn't know what to do with it. The ending of this, to me personally, was very weak. I did not like the decisions they made. They were very weird, and they did not mesh well with the first 70 minutes of this film. Maybe some of you will disagree with me, but for me, that just kind of killed the ending. I would say, if you want to watch this, watch the first 70 minutes. The minute she gets abducted, shut it off. It's just a bunch of trauma metaphors, and they just ruin the rest of the film. I think more people are not going to like this idea than are. It's just too off base of what you saw originally. I'm going to grade No One Will Save You a C+. Well, tell me guys, what did you think of No One Will Save You? Let me know in the comments below. And if you are curious about seeing this movie, it is available to watch right now on Hulu. So that's my review for this film, guys. I have more reviews coming up. Thanks for watching the show. I do have my Halloween special coming out Halloween Day, so don't forget to subscribe so you can check that out. Until then, I'll catch you movie fans on my next review. Thanks for watching.